Okay, good morning everyone. I'm going to make a video today that is going to be related to a lot of my back pain patient population. In general, this video is geared towards people who do have some amount of back pain, and I get a lot of questions in the clinic about stretching and how and when, so I'm going to address that here and hopefully not make this too long a video. So first and foremost, I personally think that stretching is the most overutilized thing in sports at the wrong time. Meaning you get to the field cold, you get to the gym cold, you kind of get in and your body's aching and things are kind of cracking and popping a little bit and you're feeling like, oh, I'm getting kind of old. And to some extent that's true because the tissue in the body is less resilient as we age. And what I mean by that is your tendons and ligaments, your muscle fibers, the cells that create them and recreate them and regenerate them for you and allow your muscles to grow, right? So like if I eat protein and I pump some iron and my muscles grow, that kind of process will slow down as we age, which is why we have to work so darn hard at it. But for the younger folks as well, a lot of times we take these cold muscle fibers and then we overstretch them, and that could actually lead to injury. Because if you'll remember, I constantly tell everybody, and this is very important for everyone to remember, a majority of the reason you all see the chiropractor is for back pain. A majority of back pain comes from discogenic, aka torn, fissured, annular fiber disc injuries, which are ligamentous or cartilaginous, not the same thing, but for the purposes of this video they are. The same thing, where it's a stretch mechanism injury. It's like a sprained ankle. That's why I said ligamentous. It's like a sprained ligament around the vertebral column of the spine, and when it overstretches or stretches the wrong way inappropriately, usually too fast, or a sustained hold in a position for too long, you will end up with an injury. And the reason that happens, again, is everything I was just alluding to or leading into this video with about having cold and sort of not really good vascular flow, which is why you should do something more of in the warm-up nature. A little bit of jogging in place, a little bit of shadow boxing, a little bit of push-ups. And one of the things I'm going to show you is a variation stretch for your hamstrings, because unfortunately there's a misnomer and just a big misunderstanding of about tight hamstrings in the realm of physical medicine. And I used to make videos like this, and I'm going to just go ahead and get right into it today. Even if you are someone who suffers from tight hamstrings, it's usually because they're already long and tight rather than like a short muscle that needs to be lengthened. Thus, you would be doing yourself a disservice to try to continue to stretch your hamstrings. You more than likely have tight hip flexors in here and need to do stretches like this to kind of lengthen the front muscles to, again, shorten these lengthened posterior fibers of the back, and even in some circumstances, the hamstrings. So I'm going to show you a nice way that you can stretch this and warm up at the same time, and then get into a little bit more advanced stretch. So hopefully you can see here, I'm going into just a push-up position. And you'll see what I'm doing with my feet is I'm really just kind of doing almost like a jog in place. And you might think this is just a calf stretch, but in actuality, you're actually flossing your spine. And the more I go into this sort of full length motion, if I raise my butt up and go back and lean my butt up and go back, I can actually begin to target the hamstrings more effectively and actually start to stretch some of my back with a slight bit of flexion and round back rather than full-blown bending over and risking injury. So one of the things I just want to advocate to all my patients, and that's just one stretch that I kind of want people to do, yes, it's warm up in the morning. When you wake up and start to move around, actually move your body, walk around. Don't just, get up and try to go into some stretching routine while your body's cold and in sort of like a protective mode. Because if you try to push through that protective barrier, you probably are going to end up with an injury. So that's why usually when you wake up and you're stiff and not feeling quite right in the back, walk around, move your body, get the blood flow, blood flowing, and then go into some of these stretches without spending so much time rounding and doing more of that anterior frontal, anterior front muscle, psoas muscle stretching. I have another video that I tell a lot of my patients to watch with the baseball or lacrosse ball and the psoas muscle over here. That's super important, guys. I can't stress it enough. And I hope that this video made sense. Please please share it with someone who you know is suffering with back pain. And again, always utilize chiropractic as your primary, initial, least invasive, least expensive, first line of defense for not just any kind of joint pain, of course, but consult with someone who you know can make your back feel better, and don't let it be the thing that keeps you grounded and doing the things that you love to do. All right, guys, till next time, it's Dr. Pearlman.